Hello and indeed, my fellow Americans, it is indeed Monday, July 11th, 2022. Again, I'd like to welcome all of you to the Robert Duverny Show. You know, if it's Monday, if it's 8 p.m., there's only one place to be at the Robert Duverny Show. Well, tonight, my fellow Americans, we have a great show as usual. I'd like to welcome all of you, those who've been away on vacation. I know it's summertime, and we even dressed down if you're at the Robert Duverny Show. As again, tonight it will be no formal suit, no jacket, but it's too hot in the state of Florida. Again, as you all know, we just celebrated Independence Day, 246th year of the U.S. Birth as reality, and of course, like last week, we did not have a show for the reason why we figured it was not wise to take time away from your family. And at the Robert Duverny Show, that's something that we value a lot, that way you can spend time with your family members on a regular basis. And every chance you get, I think it's important that you make good of it. Again, I'm giving you a few seconds here to call a colleague. Let them know that the Robert Duverny Show just logged on. You know, if it's Monday, if it's 8 p.m., there's no other place to be but at the Robert Duverny Show. Well, tonight, my fellow Americans, what we have on the agenda for you, of course, is, the Supreme Court, what they have done, and then where we going. I mean, I'm sure most of you have been watching the latest, the decision that's been making, and of course, we have a pending election in the next few months. I'm sure most of you are quite aware of it, needless to say, but we must be vigilant and knowledgeable, and there's a whole saying that what you don't know does not kill you. Well, I can tell you in 2022, what you do not know does kill you. So, bon entendeur, salut. I think we need to take heed of what's going on, and I think it is a critical time in our society where we need to be more knowledgeable, educated of the issues at hand, because somehow, some way, they will affect you. And then they may not affect you today, but in the long run, those of us who have children, our offspring will be affected. That's the reason why right now we're dealing with the debt. As we all know that inflation is imminent. I'm sure most of you may have had some stimulus checks. Those stimulus checks are coming home to roots. And you wonder, and then, well, we don't just print money out of thin air. I mean, you just climb a tree and then start putting the leaves. That's not how money is created. So just so you know, I'm sure you know the law of physics. For every action, there's a reaction. So this is it right now. We're dealing with it directly. All right. Well, I'd like to say kudos to, I see quite a few of you guys logging in right now. Wow, you guys are coming in. I'm sure that my producer must be doing a wonderful job by reaching out to all my viewers. I'd like to say kudos to Mr. Odilson Ambrose from the great state of Florida. Welcome back, Mr. Odilson Ambrose. Of course, Mrs. Bernadette Ray from the great city of Pembroke Pines. Dr. Geraldo Duverny from the great city of Pembroke Pines. McGallant Vallis, well, congratulations, McGallant. You've kept your promise. Congratulations for logging in the Robert Duverny Show. You have made the right decision by logging this evening. My brother, Monsito Galro from the great city of Miramar Hill, logging in tonight. Congratulations. Dr. Azor, whom I had a chance to see this weekend after so many years. I finally got reunited with Dr. Azor, of course, with the husband. And thank you, Dr. Azor, for logging in. She has been a loyal friend of the Robert Duverny Show. I could not have said much. All right, thank you for logging in. We're going to have an interesting show for you tonight. I encourage you to stay tuned, and there's a lot to be said tonight. All right. Again, and I could say this is, of course, Stacy Bazille. Stacy Bazille, a long-time friend of the Robert Duverny Show. She's a young lady with a bright future ahead of her. And then congratulations, Stacy, for logging in. Apparently, Mrs. Garrow have not, okay, again, it's not actually the husband, but actually it's the first lady, Mrs. Garrow. Thank you for logging in the Robert Duverny Show. Well, kudos to all of you. And again, it's still time. I want you to reach a friend. Let them know that we are on. Okay. What I have on the agenda for you tonight, of course, my fellow Americans, is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, which is the supreme law of the land. Okay, and that's the Constitution. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. All right, this is what that we've learned in history. This is what we learned in civics. And this is where the buck stopped. Everything stopped at the Supreme Court level. Now, the Constitution that most of you may have studied in high school and part of college, and I think this is something that all Americans should study. Just like you, now if I were in a position to call a shot, okay, before I even issue your driver license, I'll make sure that you pass a constitutional test. But one would say, why? Well, I believe in some third world countries, even those remote countries, and that's something that they put a lot of emphasis on. I think as a citizen of a nation, you got to know your rights. You have to know what's at stake. You have to know where to go when push comes to shove. And that's something that I think we don't put much emphasis on here in the United States. Of course, the United States is a free country. It's a land of the free. But that land of the free comes with a price, and we have a lot of ignorance, and because we're so caught up with our own leisure, without other things, and then and this is what happening in the January 6th. We just saw that Congress is deliberating on what happened in January 6th. Now, there are those who believe that there was somewhat of a fraudulent election. There was fraud involved. The system was rigged. And not going through the proper channel, and they have taken arms. And that's not how you protest. This is not how you fight for something you deeply believe in. All right? So it's important that we know the proper channel. Just for instance, if I have to okay, I'm gonna get to you, Ms. Vallis, here in a second. Is it really free? That's right. Just because it has the word free in it, freedom, it doesn't mean that we're free. Very good. All right, free means nothing. Okay, free of alcohol, that means no alcohol. Free of sunshine, that means no sunshine. But that's because it's free, which means it's free. All right. So now, when we think of the proper channel we must use when it comes to litigate. And that's the reason why we have the court system. If we have some disagreement between the two of us, between two parties, we tend to go before the court, and we expect a jury of our peers to hear of our cases. So, well, same thing goes with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the last court, last resort, in case if you felt like you were disadvantaged at the lower level, and now you can appeal your case to a higher court. Now, as of late, we have seen quite partisanship at the level of the Supreme Court. Well, you would wonder why. Well, the U.S. Constitution has not changed. There's only 27 amendments in the U.S. Constitution. That tells me that there has not been any major changes. So I hope that's clear right now. But now we're living in time whereas we as Americans, we are concerned. There are some of those who argue that your right have been taken away. Okay, they wanted to let you know that they're taking away your Second Amendment right, okay, which is the right to bear arms. Okay, and there's so many amendments, but then again, these are the ones that we tend to put emphasis on the most. These are the ones that somewhat resonate to us the most. But nevertheless, we have quite a few that we seem to neglect. Okay, the freedom of speech, the First Amendment, that guarantees you the right to speak freely. But now, just because it's a freedom of speech, that doesn't mean I can go to my colleague or a friend of mine and start slurring and slander you. In other words, make accusations or even saying things that is untrue. That's not democracy. That's not freedom of speech. Freedom of speech has to do with the right to voice your opinion. That's what it is, respectfully. So when these things are taken out of context, that's what we have chaos. And that's exactly what happened in January 6th of 2021. I'm sorry. That's exactly what happened in January 6th, 2021, just last year. We have those who were disagree with the result of the election. Yet they took their arms to the street. And the last I checked, this is still the United States of America. the beacon of light for nations around the world. This is who we are. These things, when they happen, it made others to wonder, if this truly the freedom that the United States want to portray around other nations, is that really true? Is that what freedom really looked about? Is that what democracy is? No. We can't afford that. Not only we're doing somewhat of disservice to our forefathers, we're also doing a disservice to the future generation, those who will follow us. There'll be a time that historian will judge us. Where have we stood in the time of difficulty? Where did we stand? What did we do when our backs were against the wall? The true character of a man is when he's cornered. Wow, don't get me started up in here. That's the true character of a man. You can lose gracefully. Guess what? There's a next, come back the next time. Yes, of course. That's not the end. So if you won the first term, you ran and you won the first time. So, well, there's got to be a loser. Well, if you lose, that does not diminish you. Well, that gives you a chance to rekindle your message. I might be speaking to somebody here tonight. That gives you a chance to do things better. And then come back gracefully. And I think it's time that we can inspire others to follow us in politics. And politics is such a great profession. It is, to me, politics is a calling. For you to serve, to be a public servant, over the years it has lost its meaning. There are those who've gone into politics simply for the namesake, simply for recognition, simply to advance their agenda. But being a politician, being a public servant, it is an oath that you have taken to serve. And that comes with a lot of humility. There are some characteristics, if you don't have them, you're not a public servant. You cannot be, I mean, think about it. You cannot be a public servant if you only think that you can only be served. You cannot serve others. So you know where I'm going with this now. So now, as of late, again, full disclosure, at the Robert Duverny Show, we do not take side of any parties. The Robert Duverny Show is as free as you can be. Just like Ms. Vallis just mentioned it. Is it really free? Yeah, Robert Duverny Show, I can tell you, it's free of partisanship. We have transcended parties. That's who we are. And then I think that's the best way that you can serve the people that comes to you on a regular basis. They count on you for authenticity. That's what makes who we are. And then this is a mold that I've taken from day one. From day one, to be transparent, to tell the truth, and to show no bias. Now, how many of our politicians are willing to do that? So I'd rather lose an election than lose a country, or even lose my personality, my integrity. I'm sure most of you may have been watching the January 6th panel, and the only person I have great respect for in the panel, the only one person, I respect them all, but the highest respect I have is for, of course, Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney, the daughter of former Vice President Dick Cheney from Wyoming. Liz Cheney, as you know, she's extremely conservative, too conservative at some point. There's a school of thought who may argue that she's too conservative. Yet, you wonder, where is her party? So forget the Democrats. I mean, these guys, they're on the wall by themselves. So are the Republicans. But I'm looking for the common sense lawmakers. And Liz Cheney fits that description perfectly. The others, regardless of the parties, they're a bunch of losers. But I have great respect for this. I've come to admire her for her backbone. It shows me that there's no man in there, really. Regardless of your party affiliation, they don't have the cojones. They're not willing. We don't have the lack of the John McCain. There's a guy whose plane was shot down in Vietnam, was captured, and would not leave Vietnam. Although they knew of his past, his father, what he has done, his father was good to the Vietnamese. He said, no, I would not leave until all my soldiers, his infantry would leave with him. I mean, those who were captured as well. That's what I mean by that. But this is a man of character. They showed him the door to leave, but John McCain said, no, no. Well, John McCain was a maverick in the Senate. It's unfortunate that we lost him a couple years ago. And this is a man who greatly influenced me, especially when I was in college. That's a guy I emulate a lot. And he displayed leadership. He displayed courage in face of adversity. Well, thankfully, there's still students of John McCain. The likes of Liz Cheney, I just mentioned. Liz Cheney is in the tough spot right now. There's no way that Liz Cheney will win his re-election bid. She would not win her re-election bid. Simply the fact that the cards are way off mark. But she's rather lose an election, but stand for the truth. That's what we want in our leaders. And that's what we, as family members, as husbands, wives, as fathers, as mothers, that's what we need to leave for our children. Show them our true color, who we say we are. Not be behind the camera, because I tend to be the man that I am behind the camera. So if I were in with a couple of friends, I like to throw jokes, that's me. And I'm a humanist by nature. I can't help it. Everything I do is altruistic motive. That's my nature. That's in me. That's me. Very driven. Believe in the cause. That's what we need in our leaders. Well, Liz Cheney, unfortunately, she may not win her re-election. That's okay. I'm sure history will have something to say about her. And that's the character that we're looking for in our leaders. I would love to see her running for the big ticket. I think she should. I think she should. And that will tell you the state of our nation. Has our nation gone rogue? Or has our nation lost the sense, the good sense? We need leaders who are willing to face hardship. We need leaders who are willing to sacrifice it all for a cause of our nation. Now, there'll be more to be said. Again, it's important that we lay this foundation, lay the views so you, the people, can ultimately make the right decisions. I often hear from the other party, the Democratic Party, telling folks to vote. Vote for what? What has vote done for them lately? Now, the Supreme Court is attempting to gut out the Voting Rights Act. What does that mean? Minorities, there will be a point that you may not be able to vote. And yet you have a guy like Clarence Thomas, a black man, who actually entertained that idea, who supported as a matter of fact. They gutted out. They gutted out Article 9 of the Bill of the Voting Rights. That means there's nothing. I mean, I'd like for you to, when you get a chance, I want you to look into it. So oftentimes we sit back, as Americans, we're too busy on our phone and doing nothing. I mean, I'm not here to give you a rosy picture of things that you're gonna have stimulus, what have you, things gonna be perfect. No, we need to be educated about issues that affect us on a regular basis. Now, we have an election coming up. The Supreme Court, whom I started with, the title of this tonight's show is there's still cases that are pending that can affect you, the viewers, all Americans, in the next time that the Supreme Court meet, right before this election. So now the U.S. Supreme Court wants to vest it. That's what they want. They want to invest that power into the state legislature to determine a federal election. What does that mean in a nutshell? That means the state of Florida. Let's say right now it's both the state legislature, the Senate, and the governor mentioned is of course controlled by Republican. Again, full disclosure, we're not taking party sides. Since I'm in the state of Florida, I'm taking that example. We know that we have 30 electoral college in the state of Florida. All right, because we just got one on the last census. So, I mean, a lot of people move in Florida, of course. That's the state that I'm in, so everybody wants to be here. It's okay. So that gives me an opportunity to of an additional district. So the map has been redrawn by gerrymandering. I mean, you tend to design a map that favors you, right? Is that any bias here? Well, in a perfect world, you would expect it to be 50-50. But then again, we're not living in a perfect world. We're not living in a world that is perfect. But then again, this is what that's the hand we've been dealt. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court is going to hear this case, whereas they will send the power back. They're going to bypass the court, the lower court, and send it directly to the state legislature, which means they can appoint their own representative and cast ballot on behalf of the resident of that state. What does that mean? Well, I'm sure if you paid some attention to the January 6th panel, you heard that there were some there were rumors, because right now we can only say there was rumors, right? There were rumors that the state of Arizona and some other state that were contested, that they were, although the state cast the ballot, because the way you look at it, whatever how the people vote in the state, that's how the state legislatures will vote. In other words, that's the reason why we have a democratic system and we have a representative system. So we will vote the will of the people. All right, so whichever way the people vote, that's how the state legislature will vote. Now, let's say the state of Florida, for example, voted overwhelmingly Democrat. Okay? Now, the state legislature would have the authority. So you know what? The people of Florida, they live in Florida. They don't know anything. They don't know any better. So we're going to cast, although you overwhelmingly vote Democrat, all right? You want to cast that 30 ballot, okay, in the state of Florida, I should point this out, full disclosure. In the state of Florida, we have the winner takes all. So in other words, we have 30 electoral college. Now, whoever wins 16, because if we do 15-15 is a tie. So if whoever wins 16, okay, automatically gets the other 14. So you win 16, so automatically the 14 is yours. So you got 30 electoral college. So in other words, if you're running for president, you have 30 with 16 you won in Florida, automatically you get 30 because you won the state, so whatever else follows. So now the state legislature would have the authority to say, you know what? We're not giving those votes to the Democratic Party. We're going to have the state legislature cast the ballot, and whatever the party in majority at the state legislature, this is how they will vote. So in other words, that 30 electoral college that was on the side of the Democrat could be wiped out within a matter of seconds. So you know what, I don't think it was right. The people in Florida, they don't want any better. That's why they live in Florida. So we're going to cast that ballot on their behalf. So they just go ahead and cast 30, or the state legislature just vote on our behalf with what they believe is the right thing. Well, this is what it is. Yeah, Dr. Israel. Yes, you heard. You heard. Well, this is what we're dealing with. And then, well, if you look at it, you have to be smart. That's why I love something about the Republican Party. They're very smart. Yes, indeed. We're turning a banana republic. Indeed, without a doubt. That's what I loved about the Republicans. So if those of you who are, like I said, we don't take side here. They're smart. They don't make any noise. Have you ever heard the Republican Party telling you, go out there and vote? No, they don't have time for this. They don't have time. Go vote, vote, vote. Call your neighbor. They don't have time for this. That's baloney. That's a waste of time. You know what? We work in the grassroots movement. I mean, we're controlling the state legislature. We're controlling the Senate. We're controlling the governor mansion. That's how they do things. And that's how they change laws. Not telling these poor people, go vote, go stand in line for $200, and then at the end of the day, they're still stuck it in your face. That doesn't work that way. You got to be strategic. That's how you win election. That's how you win election. And that's exactly what they're doing. And then guess what? And this is how things are turning. Look, be on the lookout. Look's what's going to happen. Well, you've heard it here on the Robert Duverny show. And then, hey, this is a full disclosure. Go look for it. And then the beauty about America, all these things are right there. You know, they're in fine print. Just if you dig, you'll find them. So we're not trying to scare you here. We just want you to be knowledgeable of what's going on. And when you see it, then you call it for what it is. That's what we need in America. All right. So it's over here at 8:30, my fellow Americans, and that's what I wanted to touch base with you tonight. I'm waiting for a few questions. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to assist. And well, just before we give kudos, I'd like to give kudos to some special birthday tonight. Birthdays. Today is a 7-Eleven, not 7-Eleven the store, but July 11th. Well, today on behalf of America, and on behalf of all the Robert Duverny Show, would like to take this time to wish a happy birthday to our lovely Esther Pierre-Louis from the great state of New York. Esther just turned 21 years old tonight. Esther, we love you here at the Robert Duverny Show. I'm sure all the audience, America loves you. I think the world is better simply because of you. So on this day, we pray that you have a fantastic evening, fantastic year. May everything that your heart desired, everything that you have envisioned, may it come true this year. I would like to say birthday wishes to all of you who are celebrating this year. Again, if you're a loyal fan of the Robert Duverny Show, we normally send out kudos to all our viewers. Again, it's a great day. It's again, don't forget to share this broadcast with your friend, and then let them know that where we stand. All right, so I'll just see a few questions here. Okay, Dr. is of course the usual suspect. If you're a Democrat or independent, what can be done? Well, if you're a Democrat, Dr. Azor, the best you can do really, it's to voice your opinion. I mean, there's so much noise going on. Your voice may not be heard. But deep inside, I think we can start a grassroots movement, whereas you stand for what you believe. And then at the end of the day, if you're an independent, I mean, stay the course. When you're an independent, you don't just go with what's been said, yet you rather go with what is logic. Okay, the logic, that's what's going to drive you to the pole. And then that's the beauty about being an independent. You don't just take things at face value. So in other words, you tend to decipher on issues, you tend to delve into them at the same time, and also do your own critical research. I think That's what makes independent above the fray. So I think it's important that we keep that in mind. And but again, I think if we could talk to a neighbor, talk to a colleague, a family member, and by sharing these things with them, and I think you've done your part. I believe in baby steps. I believe that there's a great philosopher who once said, "I may be a drop in the ocean. With naked eyes, you cannot see the difference. But if you were to put me on a balance, if you were to weigh me before I was dropped in that ocean, you would see the difference." Oh, need I say more? All right. My fellow Americans, it has been a lovely evening. As always, I look forward for every Monday. That's a day I always look forward to. People always ask, "Robert, why do you love Monday?" I said, well, I love Monday for numerous reasons. First, it's the Robert Duverny Show every Monday. I have a loyal audience who would not miss the show. And then Monday, it's Monday Night Football. I love football. And of course, most holidays falls on Monday. Is that right, my fellow Americans? And Monday is a great day. It's a new beginning. It's a beginning of the week. So I think I could not ask for more. I say kudos to Mr. Paul from the great city of Miramar, just logged in, although he's a bit late. He told me he was going to be the first person to log in this evening. However, he's late. He's probably working at the gym, but Mr. Paul, keep up the good work. I appreciate you. All right. The Real Deal Monday. Sounds good. It's coming up, Dr. Azor. We love your insight. The Real Deal Monday. I like that. RDM, baby. All right. I could not ask for a better audience than you. You guys been great. And stay the course, stay informed, and spread the word. And let other people know about the Robert Duverny Show. It's a great show. It's a show that encourages others to participate, and we create a platform where it is respectful and at the same time inviting. Need I say more? Until next time, my fellow Americans, it has been a lovely evening, and I look forward to seeing you in not too distant future. Hopefully next week will be the 18th of July. We look forward to seeing you and for a show alike. And until next time again, have a lovely evening and good night. Thank you.